Wednesday, August 23rd, 2017, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So it's just before midday London time. So it's kind of an early market update. Just want to cover the markets and some of the geopolitical news out there. Things seem to be still very turbulent, in my opinion, or maybe not. We never know what really goes on behind the scenes, in government and international diplomacy. In my opinion, a lot of times it's just theater. But anyway, right now, gold is doing fairly well. $1287.50, up $2.50. The range overnight has been $1282.70 to $1288. So that 1280 level seems to be holding fairly well for these last, 4 trading days, so to speak. Silver back up above 17 at 1706, up 7 cents. Range has been 1691 to 1709. What else? The Dow's down 28 points at after a big day yesterday. It's at 21,860. S&P down 5 points at 2447. The NASDAQ futures, the NASDAQ 100 is down 12 points at 5858. FTSE in the UK is down 4 points, 73.84. Currency-wise, we've got the pound still fairly weak. We're down 22 pips sterling at 128. The figure actually right now. The low's been 127.90, so not very good last few days for the British pound, back below 130, and I think we're probably gonna go back down to 126 in the medium term. Euro up 21 pips against the dollar, 117.83. So euro fairly steady. The dollar is down today against the yen, down 20 pips right now at 109.36. Range has been 109.30 to 109.83. That relationship between the Japanese yen and gold is still fairly strong. And by that I mean when the dollar goes up against the yen, gold seems to be to come down against the dollar as well. Just wanted to say there was a big story, fairly interesting story yesterday about a UK subprime lender, consumer credit company. I think it's a very old company, but they lend money more to poorer people who have very bad credit. And yesterday they're called Providence Financial, and let's see, Provident Financial PLC. They've been around, I think, since 1880, so it's an old company. And yesterday they dropped 70%, and their CEO resigned. And there's a lot of, and they're also involved in car loans. They've got a company that does car loans, but they only have like 41,000 customers in that part of the business. Today, the stock is back up a little bit, up 2%, but 2%. So we have to see if this is a bigger, problem, systemic problem with the whole consumer credit part of the UK economy, or if this is just related to this company. I know in 2007 and 8, the subprime lenders, mortgage lenders started going down. In the beginning, people thought this is just like, it's not going to spread to the whole economy. These are just, company specific, but then it spread. So we need to keep an eye on this development. Provident Financial. So they were down 70% yesterday. I personally think maybe that's what hurt the pound a little bit. So we need to keep an eye on this. So what else? Well, the big story yesterday as well was Trump, the Trump sanctions on China over North Korea. Today, there's a story in the FT. It says China restrained in response to Trump sanctions over North Korea. Beijing prioritizes diplomatic stability with U.S. ahead of its leadership transition. So it looks like Trump has basically made a good move. I mean, you don't want to piss off your biggest creditor, especially with sanctions. So I'm going to read a little bit here about from this FT article. It says the Chinese government had hoped that Donald Trump might ease off his rhetoric after supporting tougher UN sanctions against North Korea earlier this month. However, the U.S. president has since threatened Pyongyang with fire and fury, and on Tuesday targeted a number of Chinese, Russian, and Singaporean companies and individuals for allegedly working with proscribed North Korean entities. And it goes on to say, Beijing has decried secondary sanctions as an act of long-arm jurisdiction that violates its sovereign right to police Chinese companies according to local laws. If these are suspected violations of UN resolutions, this is the Chinese Foreign Ministry saying. So I'll repeat. The Chinese Foreign Ministry says if there are suspected violations of UN resolutions on the part of Chinese enterprises and individuals, we will investigate and dispose according to our domestic law, the Chinese Foreign Ministry said on Wednesday. The U.S. sanctions do not help solve the problem, nor are they conducive to China-U.S. cooperation and mutual trust. So, but it goes on to say the Trump administration's latest sanctions have, however, only targeted small private sector companies rather than large state-owned enterprises. So, yeah, it's still, it's not a huge problem at the moment. It looks like the U.S. Trump administration is trying to do kind of interfering indirectly in domestic policy in China. As the Chinese Foreign Ministry said, it's up to us to police our companies, make sure that they respect UN sanctions and international law. So at the moment, it looks like this has been diffused a little bit. But there's also an interesting article I wanted to point out on Zero Hedge from Mike Krieger, who's a very good writer, interesting guy. He's from the Liberty Blitzkrieg blog, and he says the empirical lapse clock ticks closer to midnight. And he just thinks that the Trump administration has been basically taken over by Wall Street and the military-industrial complex. And things could get quite, how can I say, volatile and unstable. And he goes on to say, and I quote him, irrespective of what you think of Bannon, him being out means Wall Street and the military-industrial complex is now 100% in control of the Trump administration. Prepare for an escalation of imperial war around the world and an expansion of brutal oligarchy. So, I mean, I'm not saying this is what I believe in. I'm not saying Mike Krieger is right, but interesting point of view. In terms of the markets, I think this should only help precious metals, even also cryptocurrencies. People trust less and less the fiat reserve currency of the world, which is the U.S. dollar or the Federal Reserve note. Why deal with the U.S. government and the Treasury and the Federal Reserve when they can freeze your funds? They can, put sanctions on your companies, wherever they may be, like we've seen now. So this should only help cryptocurrencies. And talking about cryptocurrencies, I did a video yesterday about a really interesting ICO, Geopolitical. They want to provide high-speed internet, to West Africa, a really poor part of the world. Yeah, and they're using cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, to finance this project. I will be interviewing the CEO of the company later on today, and he will talk a lot more in detail of what it will mean to have the Geopolitical, token. I can say that by having the token is like having a share of a company. That's what it's going to be like, but he will elaborate more. I did a video about it yesterday, of course, if you want to watch it before you listen to the interview, which will be posted probably later on today. So, yeah, in terms of the cryptocurrencies this morning, the prices, Bitcoin is 4,219, so doing fairly well, back above 4,000. See that Ripple is up 17% at 0.28, Ethereum 321, and let's have a look at Steam. Steam is at 126, up 6.25%. Steam seems to be basically trading in a range now between $1 and $1.50. We need to get back above $1.50 to see more upside. So, yeah, as the other point I'd like to make for the UK viewers, and also for all viewers, because this, affects, I think it just goes to show the way gold is going to go, not only in dollars, but in other fiat currencies. So gold today doing well in pounds. We're back above 1,000, 1,005. I think if we're able to break through 1,010, that could be quite positive for gold in sterling. And yeah, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can follow me also on Steemit, on Twitter as well. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, there's some links below in the description. I'll talk to you later. Bye.